What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Atriox, and we're back with another Mortal Kombat 1 video. So I've got an interesting video for you guys and gals today. So we're gonna be talking about Mortal Kombat 1 versus Mortal Kombat 11, and like pretty much just like what are the pros and cons for each game, and which one do we prefer at the end. Honestly, I have two opinions on this because I have an opinion that's like just me being a fan of the games, and just an opinion of being like, you know, objective, you know. Like, you know, as a content creator, or I guess a casual fan, my opinion would be different compared to like me as a regular just fanatic for a certain type of system. So I kind of want to have I'll give two separate opinions, but you know, just so you guys understand like why my personal opinion is different from what I think as a content creator. But anyway, so we're gonna be comparing Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 11 here today. But if you guys haven't already, I would appreciate if you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section below. Obviously do it in a respectful fashion, because like, you know, Mortal Kombat, comparing any two games, people are gonna feel some type of way about it. But at the end of the day, like, we're all Mortal Kombat fans, and I think, you know, it's good to have a good, honest and open conversation with each other, but let's not get too crazy and too disrespectful in the comment section. But anyways, the reason for this video is because I'm a part of like a few Facebook groups and just like a few Reddit groups, and all the people do, I feel like every other day I feel like I hear somebody talking about how Mortal Kombat 11 isn't as Mortal Kombat 1 isn't as good as Mortal Kombat 11, or the other way around. Like, and obviously it's gonna be just a bunch of like biased opinions, because people are just gonna want to see their game do well. Honestly though, it's always been like this. Every time a Mortal Kombat game comes out, there will always be people who will debate it, because Mortal Kombat will always try to innovate from their last installment. Obviously there are those that will always push back on it. No two games are ever the same after all, which can honestly net you a bit of criticism from a certain side of the fan base. But NRS isn't afraid to push those boundaries in terms of their games. To be honest, I can see both sides of the argument. There are things I love and dislike about both games. Obviously I think MK11 did a lot of things well outside of the whole combo aspect, and while MK1 does combos well, the rest of the game is, well, it's kind of lacking, and the new system isn't exactly beloved by all. But before we get too deep into the video, if you guys are enjoying the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel out, and I appreciate your support, guys. You guys are awesome. But anyways, let's get into the video. So let's look at the good and the bad of the games. What does each game do well, and what doesn't it do well? We will compare the two at the end of the video. Obviously I'm going to try and keep my own bias out of it, because as humanly possible.
You serious?
Because with anything you're a fan of, fans have a tendency to lean towards one way or the other, and whichever way really resonates with them. But anyways, let's start with Mortal Kombat 11. Let me just say this: Mortal Kombat 11, in terms of content, is leaps and bounds ahead of Mortal Kombat 1. Though it was out a lot longer than MK1, the foundation is what separates it. Powers of Time, the Crypt, an engaging and interesting story, online practice rooms, and skins that felt worth the price. The story of Mortal Kombat 11, from the first chapter, had you engaged. Having Sonya, a major character, die, and Cassie's final part of the act, it just felt like a gut punch. And as much hell as we gave Ronda Rousey for her voice acting, that part always brings me to literal tears. I still get goosebumps watching it back, because we see a different side of Sonya. Not a hard, cold-hearted general, but a concerned mother and a wife. Sonya softens, telling Cassie that she loves her and to give her dad a kiss as she sacrifices herself. Then when you realize that Johnny has to find out what happened from Cassie and everyone else, it just really makes the scene hit a lot harder.
Fuck you. General, can you hear me? General! Mom! I'm here, Cass.
Hang tight, we'll get you guys out.
They're gone. Cass. And I'm not gonna make it. What? I'm not leaving you behind!
Get your team home.
That's an order. Your duty. Mine's to finish the mission.
Mom, no, we can save you.
I love you, Cass. Give your dad a kiss for me.
started the detonation sequence. Override it, Jackie! There is no override. Commander! Our orders are to leave.
Your mother died a warrior's death. May we all be so fortunate.
You did not just say that.
Thank God you're back. How did the mission go?
That part always gets me, dog. I can't even watch the freaking replay. I've seen this scene so many times, and every time I watch that scene, it gets me every single time, dude. Like that's just the emotional connection that MK11, the story that they put into that game was so powerful, dude. Like honestly, MK11 was notorious for pulling at the heartstrings when he had moments such as Kitana and Liu Kang like hugging, and just the way that they interacted with each other. Scorpion's death at the end of the story, Liu Kang and Raiden fighting throughout the timelines, and different references from previous games. There's a bunch, way too much to talk about in this video. In terms of the story aspect, MK11, which I want to do an entire video on that in itself, because Mortal Kombat 11 story was just so good in terms of just like making you feel things outside of the time stuff. You know what I mean? But anyways, the towers is a lot better in MK11 in my opinion. You knew exactly what you were getting before even attempting the towers. The constant changing of the towers for each hour, for each day and a week made it so it was a necessity if you want to get a certain items. And not even that, just to mention, like it looked better in terms of being able to see what was going on. But like I get what they were going for in this game, because they want to be like obviously more of a Dungeons and Dragons style thing with invasions, but I prefer the old way, if I'm being honest. My favorite part though was that it lets you use an NPC to fight, so you didn't have to like sit there and keep fighting. Like you could do other things while the NPC took over control of your character. And man, I'm not gonna lie, I used that system way too much. I used to abuse that system because I didn't feel like doing the tower at the time, unless it was like, you know, the raid boss. It was a raid boss that I go and do it then, but most of the time I didn't do it. I wasn't really playing it because like I didn't feel like doing like tedious fights over and over again. I guess the AI at least. And you know, it also allowed me to go back and like text people who were texting me, blowing up my phone, like my friend who wanted to go to the park and hang out. Meanwhile, I didn't really want to go outside. I wanted to stay home and just play Mortal Kombat 11. Or, you know, the girlfriend who is blowing up my phone because she thinks I'm not texting her fast enough. But, you know, I'm just trying to play the game. She won't stop texting over and over and over. Good times. I don't know why MK1 doesn't have this system. Like, it's so weird, bro. You would make invasion mode so much easier to deal with, because I would just hit that auto battle, let the AI fight for me in the invasion mode, and just, you know, go about my day doing other things. But unfortunately, MK1 doesn't have that system, which I think is a big L, but it is what it is. Anyways, but moving on to the crypt, which was so dang good, dude. In this game, the jump scares, the puzzles, items, and just adventuring throughout Shang Tsung's island while he narrates what's going on, it was just so damn awesome, dude. I really thought MK1 was going to expand upon this, but then when it came out that they weren't going to do a crypt this game and they're going to move on to a new mode, I was cautiously optimistic, just because like I want to see them do other things outside of just like the same thing over and over in every game. But the way that they handled invasions was just wasn't that good, honestly. It's very boring, and like I'll expand on that later. But anyways, I think having rooms to play with was another thing that MK11 did well, and it kept from Mortal Kombat X to Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 9. Like, I don't know why they took away rooms in Mortal Kombat 1. It's not a good system, dude, in terms of the fighting aspect of it. But you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. And like, it's just weird how like a year later we still don't have rooms, which who knows if we'll ever get them at this point. And I gotta ask, and I know this isn't part of the Mortal Kombat 11 aspect, but Warrior Shrine, like, I wonder if they plan on adding it for the Chaos Rings or MK1. I feel like that might actually be a move there. But one last thing I want to touch on before we get to the cons of Mortal Kombat 11 is the customization and monetization options, where MK11 has some pretty cool skins, which were a pack for like what, a little bit over $5. You would get 3 skins, which I felt like were a lot more bang for your buck than what we're getting in Mortal Kombat 1. And honestly, they were pretty well designed as to compare well MK11 designs. You know, the regular skins just kind of suck, if I'm being honest. But anyways, it wasn't even just the skin options. They had different options to customize each individual character, giving them unique ways of dressing up, the victory poses, the walk-up intros. They were sick. The amount of ways you could customize the characters was just a chef kiss, bro. Like, they did a hell of a job with the monetization aspect of MK11. I felt like it wasn't like super predatory and like scummy like how some of MK1 practices have been, you know. And I don't really blame I don't blame the NRS in particular, because I feel like this is more of Warner Brothers trying to like force them to do these type of things. Like, I feel like they would, you know, keeping it MK11's monetization options maybe a little bit higher because it's a newer game, but you know, I felt like the prices were pretty fair. Characters and skin packs weren't above the $6. If only they kept that character model, like, I would think that would have been awesome. You know, and Aftermath, which included 5 new chapters as well as 3 characters and 12 skins, wasn't bad at all in my opinion for $40. The intro to MK11 was also pretty great too, having 3 dialogues between the two was such a fulfilling amount of banter before you got into the fight. You know, I think MK1 could have learned from this, like having a back and forth and like having somebody be able to say their piece at the end and then getting into it. Like, I feel like that, you know, was the right way. And like, I think MK11 just did that really, really well. Now let's talk about the cons, because not everything about MK11 was rainbows and butterflies. As much as Mortal Kombat 11 did great for the PvE aspect, in my opinion, the actual combat felt lacking, such as combos, which were rather boring. The gameplay just plays so slow. Fatal blows were a crutch and an easy way to win, especially if you were like characters like Cabal. Rolling to and away while down was just a weird mechanic. Not a terrible one, but MK11 had just so many different ways to escape pressure, which was kind of annoying when you were like the one pushing them. And don't even get me started on that breakaway system. That BS was annoying as hell. The actual combat just felt super casual friendly, and while I understand the need to draw in more fans, it honestly alienated a portion of their fan base that was looking for more of an MKX style of gameplay. Which again, I get that you can't please everyone, but still, the variation system should have stayed in MKX. Not being able to use certain moves unless you were a certain variation or a custom variation was just super weird to me. Why add them if you didn't want them to be used competitively as well? It's just a weird system, which, you know, they got that from Injustice, which, you know, whatever. You guys want to try and expand upon it, that's fine, but like, it just, I don't know, it just wasn't good in my opinion. Mortal Kombat 11 did a lot of good things. You know, they had the story, they had overall content, Tower of the Time, Crypt, etc., etc. But the one and only gripe I have with the game was the fact that they nerfed Sonya's grab move, which used to anti-grab, jump in the air, grab you, punch you in the air, and then throw you on the ground, which if you enhanced it, used to bounce you. When they got rid of that, I was so pissed, dude. I was so mad. I was so fucking mad, bro. Like, I was like, bro, why Sonya, dude? Like, just let her keep that move. Just decrease the damage of the overall combo or something like that. But dude, I was so mad, bro. Like, they pissed me off so bad with that. Just thinking about it now still pisses me off, because like, we got a game now, like, I just wish that they wouldn't nerf people into the ground but raise the other characters up to that point where they are. So like, no matter what character you pick, you know, you feel like you always have a chance at fighting. But you know, this is my take on it. But damn, bro, just thinking about it now still pisses me off. Like, why? Why did they do that, bro? But to put a wrap on the MK11 section, I think MK11's artwork and just the overall design is just amazing, dude. The women were beautiful, the men looked powerful and imposing, the stages and the story looked absolutely beautiful. Definitely my favorite. Oops, sorry, I hit the microphone. Definitely my favorite among the NRS era games. Honestly, if they had a combat system comparable to MKX, it definitely would have been my favorite Mortal Kombat game of all time, if I'm being honest. It's still up there though, either way, but man, what a shame, dude. Now, Mortal Kombat 1 has a lot of mixed reviews in my opinion. There is a portion of the fan base that love everything Mortal Kombat 1 does. However, there are those that hate everything they do. I myself am like smack in the middle, because while I don't love everything they do, I don't exactly hate it either. I like to keep it real. If there's something that I like, I'll say that I like it, and if it's something I don't like, I'll say that too. I'm not gonna like cater to anybody's opinion, because like at the end of the day, like I'm a grown man, and like I'm gonna give you my opinion whether you like it or not, or whether you hate it or not. It is what it is. I definitely am in a gray area, like right smack between both sides. Now I feel like Mortal Kombat 1 is the exact opposite of Mortal Kombat 11, because while it does combos well, its overall content is, well, it lacks every freaking where else. For instance, the story just feels like such a letdown. While the characters aren't exactly what you would call boring, there is something drastically missing in it. There is no real connection to the new versions of these existing characters. You never felt like they were ever really was in danger. When Sindel died, it didn't move me like MK11's story did. Sonya and Hanzo's deaths were tough for me, dude. Like, they literally made me teary-eyed. Like, I just didn't feel that when Sindel died. And don't get me wrong, there are some hype moments in the story. The return of Shang Tsung, who was manipulating himself, Melina talking like the old school Melina, Raiden and Quan Chi and Shang teaming up as a callback to Mortal Kombat Deception's intro, the reuniting of the original Kitana, Liu Kang, Raiden, and Kung Lao, and of course, the great scene with Liu Kang meeting Kitana again, and finally having their moment.
Are you ready to begin the search?
Ready enough. May there be other timelines and titans to find.
Geras? Liu Kang?
Easy, Kitana. You are among friends.
What's happened? Where am I?
A long way from home. In a different timeline, to be precise.
What? Are you also
A keeper of time? Yes.
both of us? How is that possible?
The battle for Chronica's Hourglass ripped apart time's fabric. Where there once was one timeline, there are now many. Each new timeline represents a different possible outcome of that battle. In mine, I became Time's Keeper. In yours, it was you. In others, it could be Jade, Sindel, even Kano. The possibilities are endless.
If many timelines sprung from one, and we were both part of it, then you are my Liu Kang.
The same one who battled you in Shang Tsung's courtyard. Who fought at your side at the Colosseum. Who beamed with pride when you became Outworld's Khan.
Why does fate seem always to conspire against us? To deny us life's simple pleasures?
I don't know. Perhaps in one of the many timelines, they are ours.
I would like to think you brought me here for them. But I know you well enough to know better. What duty beckons us?
I will tell you. But first, we must gather more of our old friends.
It was so great to see Liu Kang and Kitana get their kiss, and just the teasing of their relationship throughout the years. Like, they would never pull that trigger, and like while this feels like the first step in that route, in my opinion, like I would love to see them pull the trigger completely and just let them be husband and wife in the game. I would absolutely love to see just that play out in terms of a story mode cinematic. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about the customization and monetization aspect of Mortal Kombat 1. So we'll talk about the monetization aspect first, just because like I feel like this is a kind of like, I've talked about this at lengths in different types of videos, but I kind of just want to touch on it real quickly here and just move on to the customization aspect. But when Mortal Kombat 1 first came out, like the first couple months, like it was a little ridiculous on the pricing for a bunch of the things. Like I think the fatalities were like $10 to $15 at one point, and then you had the actual character skins were being charged at $10 per skin, and not all of them were worth that price, if I'm being honest. Like, as much as we love the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 skins, they're not worth $10. Like I'm comfortable paying $5 for them, like, because like it's not a very easy skin to make. You're just readjusting like how a regular ninja outfit is, and then putting it into a newer game. Like, it's not that difficult. I would feel like, I'm not a coder or designer, but I imagine it's not that difficult to make those skins compared to something like a Deception skin. Like, you know, I just didn't think it was worth that price. And like, while now those prices are a lot lower, but when the game initially came out, the monetization was damn predatory, because like how expensive it was. Like the game itself was like $115 if you got a premium edition, and I don't even want to talk about the collector's edition. It's like, dude, this game, like, okay, I get it, like they want to like optimize and monetize this game, but is there's a certain way you gotta do it if you want to make money and you want to keep the fans happy. Like, you're doing it in a way that just absolutely pisses people off. It's like, dude, like, we already spent this much money and we're missing a bunch of features already, so you want us to keep spending money on your game, but you're not fixing the features that we want in the game. So like, I get, like, I get, especially as a fan, like it pisses me off just like seeing the way that they handle that. But luckily they've been a lot better in recent times, where the skins would be a lot cheaper than in the past. And then we could talk about the customization aspects of the game, which in my opinion I think is lacking significantly. Like, cool, you can still kind of do the intros and like the dialogue between fights and stuff like that, but having only one option to customize a character is ridiculous, dude. It's such a downgrade from Mortal Kombat 11. Like, I know it seems like I'm dumping on MK1, and it's crazy because I love Mortal Kombat 1. I shouldn't say I absolutely love it, because there are things about the game I don't love, but the fighting aspect I love. And like this part of the section is going to sound like a lot of that, because I feel like it's just a massive departure from what made MK11 so great. You would think they would expand upon that in the future game, but then this could also be like a time crunch thing where Warner Brothers needed them to make, because like obviously people said it in the past, Mortal Kombat 1 plays like an Injustice game, and I feel like it was supposed to be Injustice first, but then Warner Brothers wanted to make some money, so they told them to go to the next Mortal Kombat game, which makes sense financially, because like Mortal Kombat's would be more profitable than an Injustice game would be. But you know, and that's kind of like why it just seems like, even like when they do the what do they call it, the fatal blows, like it just looks so much like like Injustice pretty much. Okay, so let's talk about the invasion aspect. Now, invasion is kind of boring, dude. It's so tedious. Like, I feel like if there was an auto fight option, like maybe it would go over better, but Jesus H Christ, dude, it's so boring, and it just feels like a chore every season to do. Now, if it was like a free roaming game, kind of like Conquest or maybe Shaolin Monks, they probably would have had something there. But unfortunately, it's just a super boring grind. The mini games aren't too bad, I suppose. I honestly enjoy some of them, especially the survival ones or even the target ones. But you know, I guess like when you get rewards from it, I guess that kind of makes it worth it. But at the same time, it's just so hard to get really interested in doing invasions. Like, you have to like force yourself to do invasions. It's like, I myself don't usually do the invasion to like towards the end of the season, because like it's just so boring to do. It's usually like 1 day before, 2 days before it happens, it ends. But anyways, like, the invasion isn't the only way to get items and cosmetics. Like, you can also get it from the shrine, which, while not a bad idea, it's kind of been mishandled in the recent months, in my opinion. Because like in the beginning, there were lots of polls. So you could pull up to, I think it was like season 2, you had like 140 polls, but the last 2 seasons have been just lackluster. They've been like 10 pulls each. It's been horrible. Like you have these massive stockpiles of 300k plus gold coins, but there's nothing to use them on. So it's just the currency just feels useless in my opinion. Like maybe they'll revamp the system at some point. Who knows when? But who knows when that'll be, dude? Because I feel like it does need a revamp because like these gold coins, it's kind of useless. Maybe you could use those gold coins to have like a store set up for previous season cosmetics that you may have missed on, and you can use those gold coins to buy them. Like that could be cool. Like maybe have like a collector store inside Mortal Kombat's like main menu. You can have something like that to use the gold coins and also get previous skins. You know, but that's just my opinion. I think that's a good way to kind of handle that little misuse. But and just change the gold coin to something collector. The name of it, the collector or something like that, because this coin is just kind of a boring name. So continuing on, while still talking about invasions, let's talk about the towers. Like they're not towers of time. I don't. They're just the towers, dude. Let's just call them the towers, right? So you know what? We're gonna keep it towers of time. Let's keep saying towers of time because it makes more sense and like you guys understand what I'm talking about. Now, not knowing what you'll receive for doing a tower is kind of annoying, dude. Like this is something I feel like MK11 did well. You could grind for the things that you know you were gonna get and that you wanted. Like you would just have to check every now and then. Another annoying thing about invasions is the seasonal tower. Having to replay a certain tower like 100 times is so freaking repetitive just to get certain skins that may or may not even be that great. Like dude, I'd honestly prefer to fight a tower full of raid bosses than replay a tower 100 freaking times. Like that is so boring and repetitive. Like I don't know why that's a thing in this game. It's so weird. Like MK1 has had countless things wrong throughout its life cycle so far as well, but they have been communicating a lot better, addressing issues as they arise recently. So, and after looking at the Chaos Rings trailer, it does fill me with some hope for the game because I think it's starting to go down the right path. Now, with all the pros and cons that I could think of listed here, how do we feel about which one is the better game? On one hand, we have MK11 that is almost that complete package of content and great emotional storytelling, great reward mechanics, etc., but lacks an appealing combat system, versus MK1 that does the combat system very well. Combos are fun and rewarding to pull off, but the rest of the game suffers from not having a good bedrock of content. The story being mostly forgettable outside of a few key moments. There are game modes still missing a year after release. I'm not giving up on MK1, but because like I feel like it has a lot of redeemable features that make it worth playing. It's a hard choice in my opinion. It just depends on what you're looking for, right? One thing I did hate about MK11 was the fact that the combat system felt slow and clunky, which ultimately led me to lose interest for stretches at a time. MK1 isn't perfect, but it does the combat system well. Like I prefer it to be without the cameos. However, that doesn't kill it for me either. And I think the lack of content is such a massive L to me, which kind of like makes me understand why people would like MK11 so much more. Okay, so now compiling everything that we got in terms of like the pros, the cons for both games, and like the type of people that would be drawn to each certain game. Obviously, the casual audience is going to go more towards Mortal Kombat 11 just because all of the stuff it has. This is more of a complete game, in my opinion, versus Mortal Kombat 1, which is more like for the OGs, I feel like, that really care about the combo aspect of the game, not so much the story and like the other content. So like it was more heavily focused on the combat system. I'm gonna be honest, like, and you guys know I'm a huge lore. I love lore. Lore is like my thing, but like in terms of like combat, like I want to play a game that's fun to me, and that's kind of like what Mortal Kombat 1 does very well. Obviously, I would rather it be without cameos and just be single combat, but at the same time, like that's just not what we got in this game. But my closing thoughts in this matter is like, which game do I like better? I'm gonna pick Mortal Kombat 1 just because of the combat system, bro. The combat system honestly carries the game. Like, and I'm gonna be honest, before I did this video, like I thought it was by a lot more in terms of like how much I enjoyed Mortal Kombat 1 over Mortal Kombat 11, but it's not as much as I originally thought after going back and just watching all the old stuff that we had in Mortal Kombat 11. Because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't touched Mortal Kombat 11 since the news for Mortal Kombat 1 came out. And that's kind of like the last time I touched Mortal Kombat 11. So going back into Mortal Kombat 11 for this video and just like seeing all the stuff that they had, like my mind definitely changed a little bit on like how good Mortal Kombat 11 was compared to Mortal Kombat 1, where like the content. You can't even ignore it. The Towers of Time is awesome. The customization ops are awesome. The intros, everything, all the customization period was awesome. The monetization wasn't as nearly as expensive as it is in this game. Like there's everything about Mortal Kombat 11 in terms of like the overall content is better than Mortal Kombat 1. I'm not even gonna sit here and debate that. Just listen to debate on that point. But the combat is what I care about. And honestly, the combat in Mortal Kombat 11 isn't that bad from what I remember. But Mortal Kombat 1 it's just so much more closer to Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat Edge that's the kind of like combat I enjoy. I enjoy that kind of fighting style. Whereas Mortal Kombat 11 was more clunky, more casual friendly. Like there was many escapes. There was many ways to get around moves to like kind of escape from pressure. Versus like Mortal Kombat 1, where like, you know, it's still like you need to know what you're doing in order to get out of certain situations and stuff like that. Like I'm not an expert on top of like frame data and stuff like that, so I'm not even gonna go into stuff like that I don't know about. But yeah, like personally, this is my personal opinion. Now, if I was to choose as a casual fan, or you know, just in general, this is for a person that's interested in playing a fighting game that has a lot of content, I'm going with Mortal Kombat 11, because I can see how Mortal Kombat 11 could even be someone's favorite game in the series, especially if you're new to the game and you see all the content they have, the crypt, the Towers of Time, the story mode, just everything about Mortal Kombat 11 is so good, dude. And honestly, like I said, if they had the gameplay similar to like Mortal Kombat X, in my opinion, Mortal Kombat 11 would have been the best Mortal Kombat game ever made. But that's, like I said, that's my opinion. The combat is the only thing that ruins that for me. But don't get me wrong, it's still my top 3. Like I'm gonna keep it a second. I've played all the Mortal Kombat games, but the recent ones, like just the terms of everything, like the story, the content that's outside of just the fighting another person. Like don't get me wrong, Trilogy and all the other Mortal Kombat games will always have a special place. But like, you know, there's more to Mortal Kombat than just 1v1s. You know what I mean? Like especially like in terms of the story and stuff like that. They've built a lore and like just how things go, so there's a lot of stuff outside of it. And if you just focus on the combat, then you know our list will be different. You know, maybe one day I'll do a Mortal Kombat tier list. This is my own opinion, and I'll just like kind of like put it together for you guys. We'll make that a video one day. But yeah, like I would, if I'm a casual fan and I'm just like getting into Mortal Kombat, I'm going for Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna choose Mortal Kombat 11 over that, because you know that game is more fun to me. Because like, especially if I don't like a fast-paced combat system and I like kind of a more controlled and just kind of like being able to have multiple escapes to deal with people who are just like kind of abusing like frame data and stuff like that. Like, you know, that's what I would choose. But yeah, like that's just my opinion on it. Like obviously, you know, I'm sure our opinions will differ on that, especially if you're like a fan, if like Mortal Kombat 11 is like kind of like what you like, and it's just, you know, by all means, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. If you like that, if you like Mortal Kombat 11, that's your favorite game, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you like Mortal Kombat 1 and that's your favorite game, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But honestly, this debate is kind of hard to decide, because at the end of the day, it just depends on what you're looking for. Because some people are just specifically looking for combat. They're just looking for a good fighting, fun experience. And if that's the case, you're gonna choose Mortal Kombat 1. And then if you want everything else, content, PvE content that's like fun and engaging and then like entertaining for you for hours and hours, you can just never get bored of it, you're going for Mortal Kombat 11. So there's no real way to prove which one is better. It just falls on what you like about the game. But that's my opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Obviously, you know, this is more of a controversial topic because everybody's gonna have their own favorite, and they're gonna be biased because, you know, they like a certain game, which is fine. You know, it's fine to have that opinion, like you like this game better than the other one. But you know, that's, at the end of the day, it's an opinion. Not everyone's gonna agree with that opinion, you know, and that's fine. But I just kind of want to give my 2 cents on this, because I've been seeing it go around a lot since the game launched, and I meant to make a video on it, but I kind of like just waited on it until like I got all my thoughts together, because I wanted to make a whole, you know, a big thing about it. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the topic. What's your favorite Mortal Kombat game, Mortal Kombat 11 or Mortal Kombat 1? And why is it that one? But anyways, guys, I'm out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a longer one, and I just kind of wanted to make a more informative video of why I feel the way I do about both games, and like what would be my favorite. But don't get me wrong, Mortal Kombat 11 story is better than Mortal Kombat 1 story. Like that goes without saying. And like I'm speaking from a lore perspective, but maybe that'll change. Maybe Mortal Kombat Chaos Reigns DLC will change my opinion on how Mortal Kombat 1 handles their story, because so far what I've heard in the trailer has got me interested. but we'll see. Like I said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know you guys thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll get into it and we'll talk about it, and like, in a respectful manner, of course. Don't get crazy and disrespectful, because there's no need for that. Everybody's a Mortal Kombat fan at the end of the day. This is vibe. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.